CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Some very strange things are about to happen, wherein the basics of normal living are drastically altered. And two people become lost in... Well, you'll hear. It'll all come out as we go along. Norma and Hal, he's Harold Glenford III, have inherited an ancient brownstone on New York's East 58th Street. Hal hasn't seen the house or the uncle who left it to him since he was a little boy. He doesn't know what to expect any more than Norma does, as they inspect the old house now for the first time since it became their own.
Yeah, you need a machete to get through these cobwebs.
Well, nobody's lived here in 10 or 15 years, you said. But it's going to be beautiful. A little belt tightening, maybe, but we can make it.
I don't advise tightening your belt. No kidding, Norma. The baby's due in April. You're going to have to stop working pretty soon. It's not going to be easy on my salary alone.
Oh, nobody said it was going to be easy.
And there are the ghosts, of course.
Cut it out.
Well, now, according to Uncle George, that's the reason nobody's been living here. The ghosts drove Uncle George himself out. That's what he said. And he couldn't keep the place rented, so he just gave up.
Okay. A house like this needs a ghost.
Our mystery drama, The Fatal Connection, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Fielden Farrington and stars Jennifer Harmon and Nick Pryor. It is sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule, and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Many scientists and philosophers see time as a road along which we pass, or a river along which we drift, the future waiting for us just around the bend ahead, the past obscured but not obliterated by the turn we just made. The rest of us, ordinary mortals that we are, find the moment in which we are currently trapped just about all we can handle. Norma and Hal Glenford have moved into their old house on East 58th Street. The furniture from their former 3-room apartment only half fills the first floor. The second floor and the attic-like third floor will have to wait.
Except, Hal, we'll have to have a nursery. You know, our baby's bedroom.
You stand there, the living proof of it.
And there's no place for it on the first floor, so we'll have to find a place on the second floor, right?
Logical.
Then our bedroom will have to be on the second floor, too, don't you see? I mean, we have to sleep on the same floor with the baby.
Hey, you're right. I hadn't thought of it before.
The back room on this floor makes a very small bedroom anyway. We could use it as a sort of, I don't know, music room or study or whatever.
You make us sound very prosperous.
We will be. Lawyers are always rich when they get a little older.
I like the sound of that, Norma. Doesn't make any sense, but I find the simplicity of it comforting.
So shall we go upstairs and see what there's for a bedroom and a nursery?
Okay. I'll go first and clear away the cobwebs.
Oh, we'll carpet this stairway. Later, of course.
When we're rich. Now, that's an old bedroom, as I recall. One of the doors is a linen closet. There are 5 doors, so that leaves just 3 rooms.
One more than we need. Well, this would be all right for our bedroom. It's much nicer than the little room downstairs, don't you think?
Okay, bedroom here. That takes care of us. Now about Junior. Hey, this door's locked.
Well, just stuck, probably.
No, it's locked. Why would anybody lock an inside door? That's odd. Where did I put that bunch of keys the lawyer gave us?
In your jacket pocket, dummy. You think maybe there's a treasure hidden in that room?
Or ghosts. It's been locked for a while.
furnished.
Son of a gun. Right out of the 19th century. It looks like what used to be an upstairs sitting room or something of the kind.
Oh, Hal, just look at that secretary. It must be 100 years old, and it looks just as solid as...
Oh, my gosh, a telephone.
One of those old wall phones. I've seen pictures of them. Shouldn't it have a crank? Oh, I'd like to furnish the whole house just like this. You know, everything to match the house itself. I wouldn't change a thing in here.
Well, I could live without the cobwebs and the dust.
Well, I'll speak to the upstairs maid about it. Good help is so hard to come by lately, my dear. Have you noticed?
Oh, I have indeed.
It's the times, I'm afraid. Everything seems to be going to pot. What? Darling, would you believe it? The butcher today wanted 18 cents a pound for steak. Just plain old beef steak. 18 cents a pound.
Well, we might as well eat at Delmonico's if it costs that kind of money to cook at home.
Oh, let's, shall we?
This evening? Well, why not? I'll order a hack. Excuse me, my dear. Operator, I'd like a hansom cab sent to 621 East 58th Street at once. At once, understand? We'll be going to Delmonico's. Let's go back downstairs where the 20th century is and see if there are any hot dogs in the refrigerator.
Actually, though, I guess 18 cents was hard to come by in those days, as $2 is today.
Not for old Grandpa Glenford, it wasn't. Great-grandpa, that would be. He was filthy rich.
Was he the one who built this house?
No, I don't know that he built it. He was the first Glenford to own it.
Whatever happened to all that money?
Gave it away.
Gave it away?
That's what my father told me. Maybe it was just a figure of speech.
You know what we ought to have? We ought to have a bottle of champagne to break over the bow of the house, or the stern, or whatever they break it, if houses had them.
Well, now, if you look in the refrigerator, just to the right of the meat drawer, you'll find a quart of excellent domestic champagne cooling. To be taken internally, though, not broken over anything.
Oh, what a doll you are. Shall we have it now?
Well, I thought after dinner, but if you'd rather...
What was that?
Well, it sounded like somebody at the door.
Well, what's the matter with the doorbell?
Honey, I don't know. Maybe it's broken. Maybe somebody likes the knocker better. I'll see who it is. Yes? What can I do for you?
Your hansom cab, sir? For Delmonico's, I believe?
It was a joke of some kind, Norma.
Who played it if it was a joke? I mean, who knew you made that nutty pretend phone call upstairs? I don't see how it could be a joke.
Well, then, a coincidence. There are hansom cabs still operating over at Central Park.
Oh, sure. And one of them just happened to drive all the way across town. And as long as it was in the neighborhood, the driver just thought he'd knock at our door and tell us our cab was here to take us to Delmonico's. Oh, come on, Hal.
Well, okay. You explain it.
I can't. That's what's bothering me.
Well, you don't think... No, you surely don't think...
No. No, of course I don't. What did the driver say when you sent him away?
Well, something about it was a funny mistake for the office to make if I didn't order a hansom. He was grumpy about losing a fare.
Did he look like a real hansom cab driver? I mean, did he look like somebody you've seen driving a hansom around the park today, or was he, well, you know, dressed like the real old-timey ones?
I didn't really notice. Look, now, why don't we just forget him? Why don't we just have dinner and see what's on TV and drink our champagne and go to bed? I've got to go to work in the morning, even if I do live in a mansion. Especially since I do.
Here's to great-grandfather Glenford.
Look, take it easy with that stuff, will you? The bottle's half gone already. You're a novice at this, remember?
And here's to hansom cab drivers everywhere. Hey, you know what we ought to do?
There isn't any more champagne, if that's what you mean. I only bought one bottle.
No. What we ought to do is something about that phone upstairs.
Yeah, like have it taken out.
No, I want to order something. A new dress, something like that. I mean, if they send over cabs when you order them, why not?
You'd better let me finish this bottle.
Bring it upstairs. Come on.
4 years it's taken me to find out I married a lush.
There it is. Our fairy godmother compliments of the telephone company. You want to go first?
No, you go ahead. I'm just along for the ride.
What shall I ask for?
Well, look, don't fool around with one dress. Ask for a whole new wardrobe. As long as you're going to be a kook, you might as well be kooky in the grand manner.
You're a genius. Hello? I want a whole new wardrobe. Oh, no, 2 wardrobes. One for myself and one for my husband. Everything in the latest style, and everything must fit perfectly. Oh, and have everything finished and delivered by the time I get home from work tomorrow afternoon. That's, I guess, it for now. You want to order something, Hal?
Well, sure. Why not? Here, give me that. Hello. I want the house completely redecorated. Completely. Restored, I should say, exactly as it was when the place was new. And I don't mean just when you get around to it. I want that finished by tomorrow afternoon also. By the end of the working day. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Let's finish this bubble water and get to bed. Hey, what do you bet you have a headache in the morning?
You'd have lost that bet. No headache. All I want is a cup of coffee, though.
Me too. That's all we have time for anyway.
Well, pick me up after work this afternoon.
Sure. I may be a little late, though.
That's okay. A secretary's work is never done.
So, after I spend the better part of 3 weeks working on this brief, and it's brilliant if I do say so myself, who do you think is going to take it into court?
Mr. Fuller?
Old J.C. himself. Who else? How was your day?
Oh, you know. Once you've typed one letter, you've typed them all. You know something? We ought to walk home from my office every evening.
Hold my briefcase while I unlock the door, will you?
I wonder if they finished.
Who finished what?
The decorators, you know. You told them it had to be finished by the end of the working day. How?
Now, this is too much. I mean, what kind of a joke?
It is, Hal. It's all been redecorated, restored. Just like you ordered. Oh, Hal.
Hey, where's our new television set? Now, that is going too far. That set cost color TV. That was a 21-inch screen.
But how did they do it? Who did it? I mean, I can't figure. Hal.
What?
The refrigerator's gone. Look at this thing. What is it?
It's an old ice box. It's full of ice. I don't think you can get ice like this anymore. There's something... This is all wrong, Norma.
It's not a joke, is it, Hal? Nobody makes this kind of a joke.
A coal range. An old coal range. My grandmother Scott had one of those out in her summer kitchen. Nobody used the things even then.
The toaster, the blender, everything, Hal, it's all gone.
That telephone. That damn telephone.
It's real, isn't it? It really is real. You tell the telephone you want something and you get it. It's like a genie in a bottle. You just order it and I think I'm scared.
All right. If it'll work one way, it ought to work the other too. In reverse.
What are you going to do, Hal?
Come on. I'm going up there and I'm going to tell that lousy telephone to put our own stuff back in this house and then leave us alone. That's what I'm going to do. Now listen, you, whoever you are, I want you to stop...
Number, please.
Oh, my God.
Hal?
Norma, let's get out of this place.
A telephone, redecorate and completely restore a 19th century house, and all in the course of an 8-hour day? It seems impossible, doesn't it? And yet there it is. And somebody did it. Or something. We'll look into it further when I return shortly with Act 2. Time. One of the many things we still don't understand about our universe. Now here, in an old house on New York's East Side, Hal and Norma Glenford have found an antiquated telephone that seems to constitute some kind of flaw in what we consider the natural passage of time. At least in the incredibly short objective space of 8 hours, the house has somehow become its original 19th century self. The past, if Hal and Norma can believe what they see and hear, has been trapped within its walls. The eeriness of it has sent the two of them frightened out onto 58th Street.
It's so quiet out here. And so dark. I don't remember it being this dark before.
Well, we haven't been around this neighborhood much at night. I guess east of First Avenue, the city just doesn't waste money on bright lights.
Let's walk up that way, Hal. Right now, I don't want to go back into the house.
Okay. Up toward 3rd Avenue or Lex? You know, I don't think I ever heard New York this quiet before. East side, west side, day or night. It's like a tomb.
Hal? Hal, do you hear it?
I don't hear anything, just...
Now do you hear it?
Well, yeah, I hear something like a... It's like a...
It sounds to me like an L train. A few blocks away, like the 3rd Avenue L.
Which was torn down. When? 15 years ago.
Well, listen to it.
Hey, this I've got to see.
But Hal, if it's the old 3rd Avenue L, then that means that everything... everywhere...
No, listen, we don't know what it means. Some nostalgia freak with a recording, probably. Something like that. Come on, let's go see.
Now, if that isn't an L stopping, I've never heard an L stopping.
You haven't in a long time.
But I've heard plenty of them when I was a kid.
Wait a minute, Norma. What do you hear now?
A horse. Don't tell me that's not a horse.
That sure sounds like one. Mounted cop, most likely, or maybe that same nostalgia buff.
If that's a recording, then it's some recording. I've never heard a record.
Now, wait a minute. Wait. That horse is no recording. It's either a mounted policeman or...
There's your nostalgia buff. All 4 hoofs.
Well, some companies must still use horses. You know, late at night. And...
It's not that late. Anyway, look what's in the wagon.
I see them. Those big milk cans. They used to... Well, look, I don't know. Maybe they still use them.
I'm scared.
Well, it's spooky, I admit that. So still and no traffic except that horse and wagon? Well, look, Norma, there's got to be a logical explanation. I mean, if there's not, what's happened? Have we lost our minds?
Oh, no.
Well, no, Norma, don't get upset.
No, Hal, that's not what I mean. Look up there.
Up where?
At the light. The street light on the corner.
It looks like a...
It's a gas light, that's what it is.
I think maybe we ought to get back to the house and see if we can't get organized.
It's back there, too, Hal.
Okay, but if everything's gone back to the 19th century or something, let's at least go back and face it in our own home.
If we still have a home.
The key seems to turn easier.
What if there's somebody in there? I mean, we didn't live here in... Oh, what year do you think it is, Hal?
It's... Oh, Lord, I'm so mixed up. How can it be anything but 1974? That's what it is.
Or was, or will be.
Now, we've got to stop this foolishness. The first thing we need is some dinner. Maybe with some good, solid food inside us, we can take a more reasonable view of this mess.
I don't know how to cook on a coal range. I don't even know how to make it burn, do you? Well, we were lucky there was some stuff in the icebox already cooked. I wonder who cooked it.
Maybe my grandmother.
What do you suppose happened to them? Your great-grandmother and grandfather. Are they supposed to be living here? Are they going to come walking in and...
Listen, what's that?
It's that phone upstairs, Hal.
You mean the one that... Oh, Lord.
Let it ring, Hal. Just let it ring.
I can't. If it's somebody from whatever year this is, I've got to talk to him, Norma. I've got to.
All right, but I'm going with you. They put carpet on the stairway, or had it on the stairway, whichever.
Hurry up, will you? I don't want whoever it is to hang up before we get there.
It's actually a new house now, isn't it? You don't see the signs of age anymore. It doesn't look like 1,000 coats of paint on everything.
Hello?
This is Bill, Harold. Where have you been all day?
Well,
I practically camped outside your office all afternoon, and you never did show up.
who did you say this is?
Are you all right, Harold? It's Bill Voigt, your partner.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. I was wool gathering.
I guess you were. Listen, I've got to talk to you bright and early tomorrow morning. You're in a jam, Harold.
A jam? Well, can't you tell me about it now?
You'd better get in here tomorrow for your own good. It's nothing to do with me, but for your own good.
Oh, well, if it's that important...
It is. It's to you, Harold, not to me. To you.
All right. Thanks for calling, Bill.
What was that about a jam?
He didn't say. But you want to know something weird? He thought he was talking to my great-grandfather. That man called me Harold, and that was his name. I can't remember anybody ever calling me Harold my whole life. He thought he was talking to my great-grandfather. I can't see. How did they read by these silly gas lights anyway?
Well, there's an oil lamp right there on the desk. I think they used oil lamps to read by at night. The gas fixtures are all up on the wall.
Well, do you know how to light one of these things? The lamps?
Well, just take the chimney off, the glass thing. Then you hold a match to the wick like a candle.
Because if this is my great-grandfather's desk, I mean, the way he left it only yesterday, I want to know what's in it. Is this what you mean by the wick?
Yes. Do you think we'll ever get back, Hal? I don't know if I could stand it stuck here forever.
There's no way of knowing, Norma. Everything's written in longhand. This looks like a deed of some kind. Most likely for the house. No. My gosh.
What?
This is a deed to an office building on Fifth Avenue. Way downtown, but that's where the action was in those days. These days.
Your great-grandfather owned an office building?
I told you, he was loaded. There goes that lousy telephone again.
Don't answer it, Hal.
Look, you can come with me. It's no good just letting it ring. It's got to be somebody important. There weren't many phones in those days. These days, damn it. Only rich people could afford telephones.
It'll just mix things up all the more, though, answering it.
Look, it's our only contact the way things are.
I wish. Oh, it's no good wishing.
Hello?
Hello. Mr. Glenford?
Yes?
This is Maud Spencer, Mr. Glenford. Is Norma in?
Just a minute, I'll see. Norma, do you know a Maud Spencer?
I don't know anybody here.
She asked for Norma. Norma. Now, maybe it's a link of some kind. You'd better talk to her.
Oh, Hal, I don't want to talk on that thing.
Look, this could be the breakthrough. Here, talk to her.
Hello?
Norma, my dear. We were all expecting you at Sarah Aldrich's tea this afternoon. I do hope you're not sick.
Sarah who?
Aldrich. Sarah Aldrich. Well, you were invited, weren't you? Sarah said you were.
Oh, well, yes, I guess I was. I mean, yes, of course I was. I've been having these spells, you know, headaches and that kind of thing.
Oh, dear. No trouble about your delicate condition, I hope.
Well, it's related, I guess. Nothing to be concerned about. I'm just supposed to get a lot of rest, stay at home and take it easy.
Oh, dear. Is there anything I can do? I'll come and see you tomorrow afternoon.
No, don't do that.
What?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. All I meant was I'm perfectly all right. I really don't need a fuss made over me or anything like that. It just isn't necessary. That's all I meant.
Well, I'm sure I have no wish to intrude where I'm not necessary.
I wish you wouldn't. Hello? Hello? She hung up.
It wasn't anyone you know?
No, I was supposed to have gone to Sarah somebody's tea this afternoon and didn't show up.
Well, it could have been the breakthrough.
One thing. Whoever was supposed to have answered this phone is called Norma, and she's pregnant.
I'll tell you this. My great-grandfather was not a very popular man.
How do you mean?
Well, if he had any friends, they sure didn't write to him. These letters are all from people who hated his guts, claim he stole them blind.
Stole? Do you think it's true?
I'm beginning to believe that old Harold Glenford, Esquire, was mixed up in some pretty shady enterprises.
What kind of shady?
Kickbacks, near extortion, character assassination, embezzlement, or something very like it. If a third of these letters are right, you name it, and old great-granddaddy Glenford was into it.
Oh, that's shocking.
Listen, you want to hear one?
I'm not sure I do.
Glenford. This guy signs himself James Blakely. Glenford. You are unfit to breathe God's pure air. The ways of God are beyond understanding, but justice is inevitable either in this world, which you befoul, or in the next, where, never fear, the punishment you deserve has been prepared for you. To hasten you into that world would be an act of the highest nobility. If I do not do the deed myself, rest assured that another will in good time.
Wow.
A sample. Only a sample.
How?
Well, what is it?
Look at this.
It's a... This is a picture of you and me. That sure is what it looks like. But in those clothes? Where did you get this?
In this desk drawer. Look on the back.
Mr. and Mrs. Harold W. Glenford on the occasion of their wedding, June 1894.
And look at those signatures. Except for a couple of curlicues, they're yours and mine. I can't help it, Hal. I'm scared.
I don't see how it's possible, but it must be. I have somehow become my own great-grandfather. Not only that, but you're my great-grandmother, and that child you're carrying, due to be born next April, is my grandfather.
Paradoxical? Well, yes, of course. You presuppose paradox the moment you start moving about in time. How do you know you aren't your own great-grandfather or grandmother? If tomorrow you found an old telephone in your attic, well, how do you know? I'll return shortly with Act 3. If I had my life to live over, that's not an uncommon expression. We've all heard it. But have you ever heard anyone say, if I had my great-grandfather's life to live over? That's exactly what has happened to Hal Glenford, if his conclusions are correct. He has not only gone back in time to his great-grandfather's day, but he has also taken on his great-grandfather's identity, and the wife he loves is now, as he must believe, his own great-grandmother. A situation of many complexities. Hal has broken open the strongbox he found in old Harold Glenford's desk and has gone quickly through its contents.
Well, there's one comfort. If we actually are my great-grandfather and grandmother, we're very rich people.
What difference does that make?
A lot. If we're stuck in this time.
I want out, rich or not.
Well, honey, so do I, of course. But there are securities and deeds in this strongbox representing well over $1 million in assets. And $1 million was really worth something in 1897.
Is that when it is now?
Mid-November of 1897, according to the dates on those letters I read.
How can't you do something about it?
What? Invent a time machine? Look, I don't know. Maybe it'll just happen. Like the other time, only in reverse. Norma, I'm sorry. That's the best I have to offer. Meantime, I think we ought to get some sleep.
Sleep? In the middle of a thing like this, sleep?
Try to, anyway. I wish we had that bottle of champagne we drank last night. Oh, Lord. It wasn't last night. The grapes that went into that champagne haven't even been planted yet.
Hello there.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had someone in your office with you.
Never mind, I was just leaving. Sit down, Harold. You were wise to shave off your beard.
Yes. Well, my wife never really liked it, and I thought...
Well, it served you well. Blakely didn't recognize you.
Was that James Blakely?
What are you talking about? You know perfectly well it was James Blakely.
No, I mean, I had a letter from him yesterday. I could have... do you know I could have him in court for some of the things he said?
Yeah, that's rather funny, you know. You having James Blakely in court instead of the other way around? That's really very funny.
I don't think I know what you mean.
Well, that's neither here nor there. I want to dissolve our partnership, Harold, as of this moment.
Oh? Do you mind telling me why?
Do you really think that's necessary?
I wish you'd tell me...
All right. I've had my fill of being a thief's associate.
Now, wait, just
I
a
know.
minute.
I took my share in the beginning. You're not the only fool in the room, but I'm through with it now. And thank God I had no part in the Blakely thing.
All right. I was checking things over last night, thinking things over. Some of my business tactics have been, all right, shameful. I admit that. But I decided last night to change things. I mean, no shady dealings of any kind from now on.
I see. Change things. And make restitution?
Well, where it's reasonable, where it's possible.
Without costing you money, you mean? I don't believe you, Harold. Not for a minute I don't. How are you going to make restitution to Jim Blakely?
I don't... Would you mind refreshing my memory on the Blakely thing?
Oh, now, really,
No,
Harold?
I've been Lately, I've been reassessing. I've been reevaluating, and there are just so many details. I'd just like to hear the Blakely affair clearly stated. Objectively, you know.
Oh, nonsense. Well, all right, if you want to hear it all over again, if you really want to wallow in that miserable can of worms a second time.
Please. Bill, it would help me.
Well, Blakely came to you in the first place, looking for a handout. On the tape, granted. I'm sure you haven't forgotten that.
No.
You were still under 30 at the time, but you were already under my guidance, damn it. That's what I hate. You were already a power in the construction industry. Blakely was sure you gave kickbacks, and he wanted one.
Then he was as much to blame as I if he came to me.
At the time, you managed it so that you had his signature on a dozen damaging documents. And you never signed so much as a letter to him. You remember that?
Well,
you've always worked that way, and you gave him a low bid on that job, and good value, too. The State Parks Commission building, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
And Blakely got a promotion because of it, and another, until he was made State Highways and Buildings Commissioner. It wasn't until then that you started blackmailing him.
Blackmail? Well, it's not an uncommon practice to...
and you bled him white. No more kickbacks, but every contract out of Blakely's office has gone to you for... What's it been, 2 years now?
Well, if I put him where he is in the first place...
They've caught him, Harold. He's going before a grand jury next week, and they'll indict. He's finished. There isn't a shred of evidence against you except his word, which, of course, isn't worth a tinker's damn now. You never signed a thing, did you?
A man who signs damning documents is nothing more than
A fool, like Blakely. Well, does that refresh your memory?
It puts things in perspective.
Well, as I've told you, I'm very happy that I had anything to do with the Blakeney business. Right now, he's thinking about killing you. No, seriously. That was just what he was telling me.
Oh, God.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I just remembered something. I'll have to leave now. There's something I must do.
But before you go, about dissolving the partnership. I don't know how you feel about it, but
Anything you say. Anything you say. It doesn't matter. We'll do it any way you like. It isn't important now.
Hal? Oh, Hal, I'm so glad you're home.
Yes, listen, we have to get out of here.
So awful, Hal, being in a place you're so terrified of and being even more terrified of leaving it. I've never in my life...
Norma, we have got to get out of here.
Out of here? Where to?
I mean, altogether out of this time. We've got to get back to the 20th century.
Hal, something's happened, hasn't it?
No. Yes. Norma, there's no time now. Let's try the telephone again.
I want to know. Tell me, Hal. Tell me.
Number, please.
Listen, I want you to get off the line. Do you understand? I want you to just unplug yourself or whatever it is you do and just get off the line. Just for a minute or two. Will you do that, please?
Number, please.
Oh, for God's sake, shut up. If you can't get off the line altogether, at least shut up. Don't talk. All right. Listen, you, whoever you are, we have had enough of this nonsense. We want to go back to the 20th century, and we want to go back now. You're the one who got us into this mess. Now get us out of it. Do you hear me?
Number, please.
Damn!
Hal, what are you doing?
Pulling the wires out of the wall. Can't you see? I'm trying to get this lousy telephone back the way it was when we first moved in here. All right. Can you hear me? You in there in your damn stupid telephone? I want you to put us back. Do you hear me? We didn't ask to be brought here. We're not responsible for anything that happened before we got here. We want to go back. You can't punish me for something my great-grandfather did. Do you hear me? All right, don't answer. You don't have to answer. Just do it. I don't know what else I can do.
Hal, the phone isn't hooked up. You pulled the wires out of the wall.
It wasn't hooked up before when all this started. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll get us out of here before...
Before what, Hal?
Okay. Come on downstairs. I guess you'll have to know. And he's threatening to kill me. Blakely is. That's what my great-grandfather's esteemed partner told me this morning.
Well, then what are we sitting here for? We have to get out of this house.
It won't do any good, Norma.
It will. There must be 1,000 places to hide. You're just a sitting duck here.
No, there's no hiding place but the 20th century. Back where we're really Hal and Norma Glenford. There's no hiding place at all in this century.
I just don't know what you're talking about.
The thing is, I remember now. I remembered while I was sitting there in Boyd's office.
Remember what?
I remembered hearing my grandfather... Was he my grandfather or my son? I remember when I was just a little boy hearing my grandfather telling my father about it.
About what, Hal?
My great-grandfather was shot to death by a business associate. By a man he'd cheated, ruined. That's what my grandfather told my father.
All right. That was your great-grandfather.
But it's already happened. To whichever one of us was here, it's already happened. It can't be changed.
I don't believe any of that. I don't. I want you to do something.
I've done all I can do. It's up to that telephone upstairs.
Maybe if we just sit here and think 20th century, it'll work. Close our eyes and just know we're in the 20th century. Listen for auto horns. Think about the Pan Am building. Try to decide what we'll watch on TV later. Breathe the polluted air. Mightn't it work, Hal?
It couldn't hurt.
Close your eyes.
That'll be Blakely.
Don't answer it.
Do you think I'm crazy? Now listen to me. If he's got a gun, he can get at us through the front window. I want you to head for the coat closet as fast as you can and get in there and stay in there until I tell you to come out. Have you got that?
Yes.
Norma, get in the closet.
No. Not as long as you...
Get down, Norma. Get down on the...
Hal.
Don't move, Norma. He may still be out there.
Hal, you're bleeding.
I am. I don't feel anything, but I can't seem to...
All over your shirt. I'm going to call an ambulance. Now, don't move. I'll be right back. Don't move.
I can't call an ambulance. I pulled the wires out. Remember?
I'll go out, Hal. There must be a cop or something.
I'll go, Norma. Please. It wouldn't do any good. It's already happened.
But I can't just...
I might not be here when you get back.
Oh, Hal.
I want to tell you something important.
All right.
The kid. Next April.
I'll name him Harold and I'll call him Hal.
No. Anything but that. Anyway, his name was Edward. My grandfather.
Hal, don't you think I ought...
No, tell Edward. Tell him when he's old enough. Understand? Tell him get rid of the money. All of it. Dirty, filthy, dirty money.
Justice must be served. That goes without saying. But how many times? It's unlikely, of course, that anyone listening to me at this moment will ever find himself unexpectedly living in the 19th century. But just in case, how much do you really know about your great-grandfather? I'll be with you again in a few minutes. Young Edward Glenford, Norma's baby, was born in April 1898 and lived a long and, in some respects, fruitful life. He never made much money, but he gave away several millions of dollars, according to the instructions left by his father. But was it his father or his grandson who gave him those instructions? I leave you to puzzle it out for yourself. Our cast included Jennifer Harmon, Nick Pryor, Robert Maxwell, and Joan Shea. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Hugh, what are we doing? What is it?
It's all over now. It's gone. Let's see what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That poor Sandy. Just look at him. Ripped to pieces. As if he'd run into the blades of a threshing machine.
But what did it?
The damn thing!
What?
That's what I call it. The damn thing. First, it did away with my chickens, and then the pigs and the cattle. And now poor Sandy, slashed to pieces. And that's not the end. Only the good Lord knows what the damn thing will destroy next. Or who?
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
This is CBS, News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. We accept time as we know it. The sun in the morning, the moon at night, so many days, so many hours, minutes, seconds, all going forward, while you and I and everyone we know goes backwards. At least we're getting older, which is kind of not keeping up with time. Supposing it were possible to repeat life. Not reincarnation, but repeating yourself in another era and beginning all over again. That is the premise of today's story on Mystery Theater.
Jake, this is 1880. You come from the year 1980. By means of the time box, you made 100 years trip backwards. So you know already what I cannot know yet.
And you suspect your daughter Priscilla is in love with a criminal.
I want to know what's in store for her. You can find out what I'll never know until it's too late.
Well, this man she's in love with, what crime do you think he's going to be accused of?
I believe he's going to murder Priscilla.
Our mystery drama, The Time Box, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by G. Frederick Lewis and stars Russell Horton. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
If you've been reading about wise money management in your favorite publications, you've undoubtedly heard about Dreyfus Liquid Assets, one of the world's largest money market funds, and about the big yields you can get on your money right now. Start with as little as $2,500. Make added investments as low as $100. With Dreyfus Liquid Assets, your money is yours whenever you need it. Phone for it, have it sent to your bank, or write a redemption check for cash or to pay your larger bills. You keep right on earning that high yield, compounded daily until your check clears. No penalties on interest, no sales charge, no charge for the checks. It's so simple, sensible, convenient. But find out for yourself. Call toll-free 800-228-5000 for free information and a prospectus, including management fee, charges, and expenses. Read the prospectus carefully before investing or sending money. Discover how Dreyfus Liquid Assets can help you get the lion's share of today's high money market rates. 800-228-5000. Toll-free 800-228-5000.
Above the crowd, Remax Realtors, we're feeling proud, soaring above the clouds. Above the crowd, all across the nation, a whisper at first, then an exclamation of pride. Riding the sky on a wave of elation, Remax is riding high, above the trees, above the clouds, above the sky, above the crowd. Realtors, we're feeling proud, soaring above the clouds, above the crowd. Remax Realtors, we're feeling proud.
We're in the town of North Orange. It's not as well known as East Orange or South Orange, but it's got good schools, clean streets, fair taxes, garbage picked up on time, mail delivered regularly, and it even puts out its own newspaper. One of the favorite columns is the Orange Box, written 6 days a week by Jake Howard, who right now just happens to be winding up the weekend words.
So, let me remind you, dear readers, the present is built on the past. Dig down a few feet anywhere on this earth, and their lives the remains of a previous civilization, of a previous century. Before North Orange had cars, cabs, and buses, we had trolleys. And before that, horse cars. Today, up on Main and 3rd, they're digging out the foundation for a big shopping mall. I'm hoping in that big hole to find a clue to a 100-year-old mystery. Tell you about it in my next column. So be sure to open up your orange box Monday morning. Yours, Jake Howard.
Kidding me, aren't you, Mr. Howard?
What?
I said you...
I can't hear you.
Wait till I put her into neutral. These big dipper shovels make so much racket, you never get used to it.
Mac, it just might happen I'll spot something which will clue me into a story I'm writing.
You mean I might dig up a treasure or something?
Might. You know what used to stand here on the corner of Main and 3rd about 100 years ago?
Fort Knox?
Something better, possibly. Right here was the laboratory of one of the greatest unsung inventors of the 1800s.
Oh, Edison? No, don't tell me. Alexander Graham Bell?
Nope. Dryden Harper.
Who?
Dryden Harper. On this very spot, the trolley went right past his door.
So, who was this Dryden Harper?
Well, in my book, and I've done a lot of research on this, he was just as great an inventor as any of them.
What did he invent?
Well, something more important than the electric light, the phonograph, or the telephone. But all we have to go on are his notes. Nothing patented, no material clues.
So how come nobody ever heard of him?
Well, they will when I'm through. I'm going to write 6 whole columns, a whole week about Dryden Harper. And right here, where you're digging, Mac, is where the story begins.
Well, where'd you find out about this guy?
A reporter never reveals his sources. Okay, you can start up your shovel again.
See that truck pulling in? Got to fill her up fast to make up for lost time. All right, here comes the first load. Watch it.
Hey, hold it. Hold it. Don't let that truck move off.
He's going nowhere. I've got to give him 5 more bucketfuls.
Put your steam shovel in neutral and come with me, Mac. Let's climb into that truck. There's something there I want to see.
What are you looking for, Mr. Howard?
I think it's right under here. I saw it fall off your shovel right about here. Now, if we can just push all this junk to one side. Yeah. There she is.
Is that what you had me stop working for? An old black wooden box?
Easy. Let me lift it up. Funny looking, isn't it? Hinges on this side, a lock on that.
Small box. I mean, it's not big. Is it heavy?
20 pounds, I'd say. I wouldn't like to get hit with it. Wonder if this belonged to him. Looks old enough.
Mr. Howard, do you mind? Take the box and let's get off the truck. 2 other trucks are lining up over there. I gotta get going.
Crazy, this old box. Well made. Hey, you see those 2 holes drilled into the top about 2 inches apart? You haven't got a screwdriver on you, Mac. I'd like to see what's inside this. Maybe I can pry it open with my fingernails.
Thank you, sir, indeed. Thank you so much.
Oh, I saw you getting off the trolley and then stumble, and then there was all this smoke. I couldn't just stand there and not help a lady. Are you all right?
Yes, I think so. It was stupid of me to have fallen like that, wasn't it? I take this trolley every single day in both directions. Oh, I hope I didn't break anything in this box. My father would be extremely upset.
Well, may I carry the box for you? Is it heavy?
Yes, it is, sort of. I think that's how I lost my balance, getting off the trolley.
It's funny, I could swear...
Oh, please don't.
I don't know if I'm dreaming or not, but I've seen a wooden box very much like it, but where, I can't remember.
I do appreciate you helping me to my feet, sir. However...
However, what?
I doubt very much you've ever seen this box before.
Oh, just a feeling I have. I could be wrong.
Nor have I ever seen you before, sir.
Oh, sorry. My name's Jake Howard.
How do you do, Mr. Howard? My name is Priscilla Harper.
Harper? Look, I know it's a very long shot, but do you happen to be related to Dryden Harper?
Why, yes. Yes, I am. I'm his daughter.
Dryden Harper's daughter? The Dryden Harper, the distinguished inventor, scientist, discoverer who was born in 1831?
Mr. Howard, for a stranger, you know a great deal about my father.
But you're so young. This is the town of North Orange, isn't it?
Oh, yes. But I've never seen you in town before, and I can see by your dress you're not a native.
Miss Harper, could we sit for a moment on this bench? I believe I'm dreaming.
Oh, dear me. That is one of the most ancient and oft-used bits of flattery in the entire lexicon.
It is?
And I shall be glad to sit on this bench for a moment. I need to catch my breath before I go in.
Now, you are Dryden Harper's daughter, and you are sitting here dressed in,
perfectly ordinary street clothes.
Yes, you're sitting here, and I'm sitting here.
Are you quite well, Mr. Howard?
Amazing. Oh, excuse me. You were saying you travel on this trolley car, and,
Well, I'm coming home now, actually. My father had asked me to bring this box to a fellow scientist at the other end of town. So I went, but when I got there, he wasn't home. I've wasted my entire morning.
But wouldn't it... why didn't you phone him in advance to make sure he was home?
Phone him?
What year is this?
1880, of course. What a silly question. Isn't it 1880 where you come from, Mr. Howard? What did you mean about phone 'em?
What I meant was if you had telephoned, but then I realized, 1880, there wasn't... You don't have...
Oh, the telephone. Oh, my father is very well acquainted with Mr. Bell.
Uh-huh.
In fact, Dad visited him in Boston 4 years ago when Mr. Bell first demonstrated his telephone.
Could you, would you introduce me to your father? You know, I've read a great deal about him, and in fact, as much as I could find. And to think I actually might be in a position to meet the gentleman, well, words fail me.
Mr. Howard, you happen to be right across the street from my father's house and laboratory. The trolley runs right past our corner. Certainly you may meet him.
Before I go in with you, may I have just one look at that wooden box you're carrying?
Oh, sure, here, you may look at it.
So that's what those two holes were. Of course, two dials.
Mr. Howard, you're not trying to make me believe you've ever seen this box before.
Miss Harper, had I not ever seen that box, I would not be standing here with you at this very moment.
Mr. Howard, what you tell me about your trip through time pleases me enormously, but does not surprise me.
Mr. Harper, if you knew how excited I am to be actually in your house listening to you face to face, I don't know how to say it any better.
Well, thank you. It was my time box you found up there in 1980. Pretty bashed about, I gather, but still active.
Well, now, what about Bell and Edison? They haven't written anything about you.
We have to know Tom Edison and Alex Bell. You might say there's a professional rivalry between us, so I'm not surprised they didn't mention my name. Of course, neither of them have any idea about my time box.
Oh, well, if I get to meet them, you may be sure I won't say a word either.
You find my time box 100 years into the future, and it manages to convey you to our century. As I said, Mum's the word about that.
May I ask, Mr. Howard, now that you're here, what do you intend to do?
Well, Miss Harper, I haven't given it a moment's thought. Fortunately, I'm a single man, no wife, no family. An orphan, in fact, so my disappearing from my own century at the corner of 3rd and Main isn't going to worry too many people.
It occurs to me, Priscilla, perhaps this young man from 100 years yet to come might help us.
How?
Along the lines we were discussing last night.
Dad, I wish you'd just stop using the time box for that stupid experiment. It isn't going to do you any good. I'm not ever going to stop seeing Hans. I don't care if you materialize Socrates or Shakespeare to come here and argue with me. Nobody and nothing in the world is going to put a stop to my friendship with Hans.
Priscilla, you know what has been happening here in North Orange the past 4 months? I couldn't bear to think my own daughter could come to the same fate.
Nothing's going to happen to me. Your suspicions are ridiculous.
My own daughter may be next. Mr. Howard, I'd like you to stay for dinner. There's something I would very much like to discuss with you.
Oh, Dad, why can't you be reasonable about this? There is nothing, absolutely nothing, to connect the man I love with the deaths of all those girls.
Quite a situation we have here. A scientist who wishes to prevent a tragedy of love and marriage by consulting an eyewitness of the future. I've often thought how many missteps would I myself have avoided had I but known what would be ahead of time. On second thought, perhaps I'd rather take my chances and not know the unknown. I shall return shortly with Act 2.
This Thursday on the new hit dramatic series Knots Landing on CBS television, Ginger Ward begins receiving anonymous gifts at school and strange telephone calls at home.
Hello? Mommy! Daddy!
The messenger boy brings a bizarre telegram.
Happy birthday to you. It's not my birthday.
There's been no crime, no threats. Well, then who is it?
Knots Landing, Thursday night at 10, 9 Central on CBS television.
Look, when you came to work for us...
Nobody ever mentioned this ad agency had a dungeon.
In you go.
All I did was forget to recommend radio as a primary ad buy.
Ooh, that's how Oxy-5 became the biggest selling acne product in America.
Yes,
and Hillman Cohen built the country's largest retail eyeglass chain using radio.
I forgot.
Look, if I let you go, I gotta let Gribble go.
What did he...
Ever hear the phrase new and improved?
Thousands of times.
Gribble wrote it.
Oh, no.
Radio. It's red hot. Call this station or the Radio Advertising Bureau. They brought you this message. By sound alone, see if you can recognize this city. Close your eyes and listen. It's one of the cities Lufthansa flies to. Is it Istanbul, Khartoum, or is it Tokyo? After guessing it, if you have any questions such as, where in this city can I find an interpreter? Just ask me, the Red Baron. Listen, is it Moscow or Sydney? Lufthansa flies to them all. Or is it Lima? It's simple. When you fly my airline, I want you feeling at home all around the world. After all, worldwide, I fly to over 115 cities. Imagine, over 115. Have you guessed? The city is Kuwait. Now, any questions? Car rentals, conference room, hotel reservations? Lufthansa, the airline that means business all over the world.
Call your travel agent or corporate travel department.
Jake Howard's daily column called The Orange Box will suddenly stop appearing in 1980 because, unwittingly, he has found himself in the same town, his hometown, on the same street corner 100 years earlier. Where a hole was being excavated, now stands a house, and in it lives a little-known scientific genius, one Dryden Harper and his daughter Patricia. Supposing someone from the year 2080 suddenly appeared on your doorstep. There's a great deal you'd like to know also, isn't there?
Mr. Howard, I must talk to you. Would you stay to dinner?
Oh, I couldn't. I just couldn't. All I wanted to do was to meet you and chew the fat, find out what makes you tick,
Chew the fat?
Yeah. There isn't much on record about you except your notes, which I found in the Library of Congress.
To a scientist, what a boon to meet a man from the future. Priscilla, can we forget our differences for now? There's still time to do the necessary marketing for dinner. Oh, my daughter, sir, is an excellent cook. A quality she inherited from her mother, God rest her soul.
But we don't know the first thing about Mr. Howard, Dad.
Miss Harper, my interest in your father is quite genuine.
Priscilla, how can you doubt Mr. Howard's veracity? Do you think my time box didn't work? Have you ever seen clothing like he's wearing? What are those blue cloth trousers, anyway?
Oh, blue jeans.
Blue jeans. I never... Priscilla, who have you heard talking about a steam shovel, chewing fat? What else? Oh, yes. What makes me tick? I tell you this, daughter. If Jake here is a charlatan and pretending to have come from 100 years away, so be it. At least I'll enjoy his performance. Have a bit more sherry, my boy?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Harper.
So, you're a reporter on a newspaper right here in North Orange.
But the paper wasn't founded until 1900.
Oh, 20 years from now.
Yeah, I'm a columnist.
You do a lot of research, eh?
Well, that's how I ran across all your accomplishments.
Well, don't tell me about them before I do them. I may be disappointed. How good are your town records? The history of North Orange, that kind of thing?
Pretty complete. We've got records of people who lived here since, 1790. That's what my newspaper column is all about, the history of the town.
What's that time? 5, 6? I lost count.
5.
Oh, good. We've at least a half hour before Priscilla gets back. Jake, let me pull my chair closer to you. Because what I'm about to tell you is confidential.
Well, go ahead, Dryden.
In all your researches about our town up there in 1980, did you ever run across the name Dr. Hans Flexner?
Dr. Hans Flexner. Oh, is that the Hans your daughter is interested in?
Yes. She thinks she's in love with him.
Well, why would there be any record of him in 1980? Is he about to make some extraordinary medical discovery? Would he be in the almanac?
I don't know. What I do know is, and this is hard for me to say, what I want to know is, was a Dr. Flexner ever arrested for any crime?
You mean you suspect Priscilla is in love with a criminal?
Was he ever arrested? Will he be arrested? I want to know the future now, Jake. You've come from there. Only you can help me. In the past 4 months, 10 young ladies have been stabbed to death. By the time the police arrive, there isn't a clue left. The poor girls have been sliced up as though by some insane doctor, a surgeon, or even a dentist.
And there's evidence a surgical instrument was used?
Expertly, in each case. What's more, it appears that each victim was unconscious before she was murdered. You follow that? They're not sure, but they think a newly discovered anesthetic was used. Ether.
Yes, to knock them out first.
What? Oh, well, but it could also have been chloroform. That's why I say the murderer could also be a dentist.
And what's that got to do with Dr. Hans Flexner?
Hans Flexner is a dentist.
Dad, I'm back. Sorry it took so long. Dinner will be ready in about an hour.
Sir, I don't think you can pin this rap on Flexner without more to go on. Now, did they find any of the murder weapons?
Yes, one. A surgeon's scalpel.
Nothing identifying on the scalpel, I suppose.
How could there be?
Hopeless. Well, if you don't catch the murder in the act, I don't think you people have much of a chance. It's unsolvable.
That's how you happen to be here tonight, Jake.
How come?
I was using my time box to help me be a detective. Something went wrong with the timing, and here you are. Do you have a place to live in while you're visiting this century?
Well, no, I haven't.
Then you'll sleep here. After all, I'm responsible for the whole thing.
Dad is so funny, but I expect you're finding that out.
Miss Harper.
Priscilla.
Oh.
If Dad calls you Jake all through dinner and insists you call him Dryden, I'm not going to be left out.
Okay, sure. Do you still think I'm some actor playing the part of a time voyager?
Oh, I suppose not. Mainly because I know the power of the time box. Has he said much to you about Hans?
Dr. Flexner?
Oh, I can see he has. Dad's got this fixed idea that Hans has been killing young girls, and one day he'll do away with me. If you met Hans, you'll see right away what a silly idea it is. So to satisfy himself, Dad set his time box for 1830, 50 years ago, so he could materialize that great hypnotist, Franz Mesmer.
Is that true? The time box can pick people out if you wanted to?
Oh, certainly. I can't begin to tell you how many celebrities have shown up here on our doorstep from centuries back. But you're the first person to arrive from the future.
So the date settings on the box are not always accurate.
No, that hasn't been perfected. That was the scientist I was going to see this morning when you turned up at the trolley. He's blind, but Dad thought he could help perfect the directional dial.
Uh-huh. And why did he want to materialize Mesmer?
He was going to deceive Hans, pass off Mesmer as an old friend from Germany who needed a tooth extracted. And while he was in the chair, he was supposed to mesmerize Hans.
To get him to admit under hypnosis he was the mass murderer.
Exactly. Oh, stupid, isn't it?
Hey, you know what? You're getting to sound just like you lived in my day.
Oh, Hans, I'm so glad to be with you at last.
I hear you have a visitor at your house, Liebchen.
A friend of Dad's.
Who is he, another inventor?
Oh, no, he's a newspaper man.
I see. How is your tooth?
Oh, it still hurts where you looked at it the day before yesterday.
All right. We shall have another look.
Isn't it maddening? I used to tell Dad my teeth hurt, and I would have to have them taken care of, which was all a pretense so I could come and see you. And now it's really hurting. It's as if I was being punished for lying.
Get into the chair, Liebchen. We'll see what is the matter. There. Weiter. Yeah. I think that wisdom tooth should come out. Do you mind?
Will the pain stop?
Oh, immediately.
Oh, darling Hans, I trust you implicitly.
Since the removal could be painful, suppose I give you something to make you fall asleep. It will take me half an hour or so to prepare what I must do. You may not believe this, Dryden. I've never ridden in a horse-drawn trolley in my life. Or any kind of trolley.
That is so? Is there no public transportation in the 1980s?
Oh, yes, but it's buses or taxis, you know.
I've stopped trying to understand your vocabulary.
No, wait, I take that back. I have been on a trolley. When I was in San Francisco, I took the cable car. That's an electric trolley that's pulled uphill by a cable that moves underground.
That's extraordinary. Did you say electric?
Oh, yeah, electric power is used everywhere. Now we've even got nuclear power.
Please.
Oh, you'll be having electricity pretty soon. Commercially.
That's what Benjamin Franklin drew from lightning down a silk kite string into a Leyden jar, yes?
Yes, but this kind will be man-made. Now, George Westinghouse is making some dynamos in about 5 years. Yeah, 1885.
I'll watch for them.
Is it far to the police station?
No, we're almost there. And the Bureau of Licenses is next door to it. I must say, Jake, you go about investigating Hans Flexner in a most professional way.
Years in the newspaper business. The information I want seldom comes to me. I have to go to it.
Well, we're here. Where do we go first?
To the police. Now, Dryden, don't be nervous. Don't borrow trouble. Just hang in there.
Would you translate for me, please?
Keep cool.
Well, if that means I shouldn't get hot and worry unduly, I'll try not to.
Hans, darling, why does it take so long for you to prepare that sleeping powder or whatever it is?
It's all done. I should give you something very new, Liebchen. Much better than the nitrous oxide those old-fashioned dentists use. Now, close your eyes.
What are you going to give me to put me to sleep?
It is called chloroform. Very effective. Now, I'll just hold this cloth over your nose, lie back, and breathe. What the devil is that?
There's someone at the door. I thought you told me you didn't have any patients today.
Open up! You hear me, Flexner? I know you're in there.
Oh, my heavens, it's Jake.
Go away, whoever you are. I'm busy. Priscilla, are you all right?
Jake, what are you doing here?
How dare you break into my office? Nobody comes in here without an appointment. Look what you did to the door.
Come on, Priscilla.
I shall go and inform the police at once.
Yes, why don't you do that, Flexner? Tell them also where you got your degree in dental surgery. There doesn't seem to be any record of it.
Jake, what are you saying?
Tell them also you use chloroform on your patients. I can smell it clear out into the hall.
Jake, have you gone crazy?
Chloroform! The whole dental profession uses ether, not nearly as dangerous. Priscilla, get up out of that chair. You are coming with me.
Yes, it wasn't until Queen Victoria was given chloroform upon the birth of Prince Leopold that it became the accepted anesthetic. She tells us in her journal, Dr. Snow gave me that blessed chloroform, and the effect was soothing, quieting, and delightful beyond measure. Somehow, I have the idea that Dr. Hans Flexner was not intending merely to soothe and quiet his patient. Perhaps I'm mistaken. I shall return shortly with Act 3.
I'm Susan Anton. It's a good feeling to sleep the night away on a perfect sleeper by PillowSoft is the ultimate in sleep. Unique extra thick cushioning for heavenly comfort on top. Ultra firm support inside. Perfect sleeper PillowSoft. Firmness that feels good. Be a perfect sleeper. Buy a perfect sleeper. Perfect sleeper.
Make some Kraft macaroni and cheese, please. Please make some Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's nice and cheesy and it's really pretty easy. Please make some Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Some days are just made for Kraft macaroni and cheese. A rich, creamy cheese sauce you know they're gonna like.
So please make some Kraft macaroni and cheese. Thank you.
If you need tires, get the best at Cassidy Tire, home of the best quality, best price, and service. That's why they're number one. Drive in for Uniroyal steel-belted radials, or Cassidy's own radials. Cassidy Tire has all sizes at low, low prices. Need pickup or van tires? Need small import radials? Cassidy has the right sizes at the right price, plus terrific values on glass belts and 4-ply polyester tires. Cassidy Tire, where prices are so low every day is like other dealers' sale days. Cassidy Tire features the new Uniroyal Royal Seal, the tire tougher than nails. See it now at Cassidy or at the Chevrolet exhibit during the auto show. The exciting new puncture-sealing steel-belted radial that actually seals most tread punctures automatically and permanently. Drive with confidence on Uniroyal Royal Seals, available at all 10 Cassidy Tire centers. For all of your tire needs or special discounts on batteries, call Cassidy Tire at 226-4395. MasterCharge and Visa cards welcome. Cassidy Tire, Illinois' largest Uniroyal distributor. This is WBBM Chicago.
This is not an easy story to preface, comment on, or conclude. Once you meddle with time, it's difficult to apply the rules we live by today. Jake's yesterday is not Priscilla's. Priscilla's tomorrow may not be Jake's. One factor, however, could overcome the 100 years that separated these two. Love. Yes, love. Unfortunately, right now, that is the furthest emotion from Priscilla's mind.
How dare you break into the private office of a dear friend of mine and threaten him with such a display of ungentlemanliness? I don't know how I can ever face Hans again. Dad, you have no idea how embarrassing this this 1980 man was.
Now, hold on, Priscilla. Now, first of all, your dear friend isn't even a licensed dentist.
At the Hall of Records, Priscilla, the name Hans Flexner doesn't appear on the Dental Association's list.
I won't have you two spying on me and my friends. I won't have it.
And I won't have a daughter of mine screaming like a fishwife. Go to your room.
So he doesn't have a license to practice dentistry here in North Orange. How do you know he didn't get his license abroad?
We don't know.
Dad, if you'd like to know the truth, my tooth has been getting very painful. I saw Hans several times, but it keeps getting worse. He was just about to pull it when Jake charged in like a bull.
What? Is that really true? Not like all those other times?
On my honor, it's killing me.
Well, then, of course, we'll have it looked at. First thing in the morning. But I'll choose the dentist, and I'll go with you.
All right, I agree. You choose the dentist. It's too painful for me to refuse.
Nurse? Excuse me, am I in the right place?
That depends. Do you wish to see the doctor for an extraction or a fill-in?
My name is Jake Howard. I'm visiting with Dryden Harper and his daughter. I took an early morning stroll, and when I returned, they left me a note. They'd gone to this office. Miss Harper had an appointment. Are they still here?
Oh, you're Mr. Howard. They left word to tell you everything's all right. They've been and gone half an hour ago.
The doctor was able to locate the pain? The tooth, I mean?
Well, there was nothing wrong with the tooth. What had been causing the discomfort was a small piece of cohesive gold foil we use in fillings. It was lodged under the gum.
Wait, I don't understand. Miss Harper isn't in the habit of eating gold foil.
You know, the doctor thought it was mysterious, too, since Miss Harper doesn't have a single filling. It was placed under the gum quite firmly. Ah, that poor child. It must have been very, very painful.
Hand me those tongs next to you, will you, Jake?
Thanks for inviting me to your lab, Dryden. It's a handy little furnace you have there.
Well, it's my little hell and my little heaven.
What are you going to put in the furnace?
The secret of what powers the time box.
You're going to tell me?
Well, I feel I owe it to you, Jake. And if you're writing about how I experiment, this is crucial.
Oh, you don't owe me anything.
On the way home from the dentist, Priscilla wouldn't say a word. But when you told her to ask herself why would her great love Hans wish to hurt her, I think she began to see him differently. So, I have you to thank.
Well, I wish... Never mind.
Tell me.
She's a lovely girl. I wish I didn't have to go back to my century, that's all. You see... Now, what are you going to do with the tongs?
Under this bell jar, what do you see?
Looks like particles of stone.
Small pieces of a meteorite. I lift the bell jar, take up one small particle with the tongs, open the furnace door, and place the piece of meteorite in the crucible inside the furnace. Close the door, turn my hourglass upside down, and wait.
I'll be darned.
Ah, that hasn't dawned on the scientists of the 1980s, eh?
No. To my knowledge, no one's thought of releasing the energy stored in meteorites. Oh, by the way, where's Priscilla?
She'll be here when she's washed the dinner dishes. Whenever I have a special problem, she helps me here at night.
Still problems?
Only one. The directional dial. The time dial works very well, barring an accident, as in your case. But to materialize someone across space, that directional finder must be made accurate.
Good evening, gentlemen. Shall we tackle the problem?
Priscilla, we were all just having dinner together. Why so formal?
Say, I have an idea. Is there a place in town where I can get some ice cream at night?
Iced cream? Oh, I'd love it.
Is it popular in the 1980s?
Is it? So, where do I go?
Well, you're at 3rd and Main now. Just one block down to 4th, you're at Mama Kelly's. She's open till 10, and she's got ice cream.
Mm-hmm. You both go for vanilla?
We sure do.
Well, I'll be back as soon as I can.
I'm glad you're being a little nicer to Jake, Priscilla.
It's not hard. I suppose one of these days he'll be wanting to get back to his century.
I'm charging up the time box to full strength for his trip.
Oh, so you think he'll go back, too?
He could stay in 1880, grow old here. Be smart enough to get work. Imagine if he stayed and used his knowledge of the next 100 years. He'd be invaluable. He could be president of this country for a lifetime.
Dad, there's somebody outside the laboratory.
What? Where?
I just saw a face at the window, and then it went away.
Oh, some nosy Parker. I'll go out and see who it is.
No, don't, please.
Well, what's there to be afraid of? All right. Hand me that poker from the furnace. Keep an eye on the temperature gauge. Lower the gas if it gets too high. I'll go out and scare away whoever it is.
Well, here we are. Mama Kelly's best. One vanilla for you, one for me, and one for your Dryden. Where is he?
He just went out. We thought there was a prowler.
A prowler in this day and age? Next thing you'll tell me there are muggers. Well, let's go out and find him. I'll leave this ice cream here. We ought to be able to see Dryden easily enough. It's a fine moon.
Jake, why don't we just stand here and enjoy it? Dad'll walk all the way around the block and come right back. Jake, I apologize.
Oh, don't. Girls in love. You can't reason with them.
No, I don't think I was. That's the funny part about it. When everything came out about Hans, I think I was sort of relieved. Maybe I was in love with love.
Hey, look. Hey, you, come back here. There's somebody running over there. I'm going to follow him. Here, now, take my ice cream. Now, go back into the lab and lock the door. Go on. I think I lost him. I thought they'd invented streetlights by now. Which way did he go? Ow! Darn, why did I fall over? There's someone on the ground. Dryden! Holy mackerel. He's been chloroformed. Hello, Priscilla.
Oh, you scared me, Hans.
Since when do I frighten you, Liebchen?
How did you get into the laboratory? What are you doing with that knife?
You haven't been to see me in a long time. Don't you like me anymore?
Hans, I was with you yesterday.
I think something must be done about that tooth. See, I brought this cloth with me. Now put it over your face, and you take a deep breath, and all will be over.
I can smell it from over here.
You don't like me anymore, do you?
Not when you behave this way.
They all turn on me in the end. They want your friendship, your pretty words. They like the presents you give them, and then suddenly it's all over.
Who are they, Hans?
All of them. All of them. You're just like all of them.
So, when you believe they are turning against you, Hans, what do you do?
I don't let them do that. They never reject me. I don't let them reject me.
So, it is true. It's all true. Jake was right.
Who was right? I was right, Flexner. Get away from her. Priscilla, duck.
No, Jake, don't. Don't throw it.
Priscilla?
Jake, are you still here?
Yeah, I am. Wait till the smoke clears. You'll see for yourself.
Oh, I see you now. Oh, Jake. When I saw you lift up the time box, I was afraid I'd never see you again.
It was the only thing handy to throw at him.
Hans? Where is he?
I saw the box hit him on the shoulder just before there was that big bang. He's nowhere, Priscilla. Or the time box.
That's gone, too?
Not a trace. Now we have no idea which century is getting a present of one Hans Flexner.
Or which country?
Who knows? He might be spinning in space forever.
What do I care about him? You're here, and you're safe. Oh, my gosh. I completely forgot. Did you find Dad?
Oh, yeah, I sure did. He'd been chloroformed. I brought him to and carried him up to his bedroom. He seems okay.
He must have heard the explosion. He'll be wondering what it's all about.
The door to the lab was open, Dryden, and there was Flexner with a scalpel in his hand.
Dad, he was pointing it right at my throat. But Jake, he stopped him.
Oh, well, I threw the time box at him. Aimed at it, his head hit him in the shoulder. Not a very good shot.
But it worked. There was a flash. Didn't you hear the sound, Dad? A big flash, and Hans disappeared.
And the time box?
Oh, it went with him. No question, he wanted to destroy Priscilla. Oh, now, how do you feel, Dryden?
Well, except for this terrible taste in my mouth. All right.
I'm sorry about the time box. There went my ticket to tomorrow. I guess I'll just have to hang around here.
That's right, Jake. You've no way of getting back to 1980 now.
Did you shut down the furnace, Priscilla?
Oh, no. I'll go take care of it.
I'm going to need those meteorite chips for the next time box I build.
You're going to build another one right away, Dad?
I was thinking, Dryden, I'm in no rush to get back to my job. The column can wait.
Well, don't you concern yourself, Jake. I can build an even better and more accurate time box. It would take time, but I could.
Oh, Dad.
I tell you, Dryden, there's no hurry. I've no reason to go at all. 1880 sort of, suits me.
It would appear that anything can happen when you mess about with time. Here today, gone tomorrow. A pleasure, certainly, if you're able to go back, as did Jake Howard. But supposing one went too far forward in time, it might be pretty bleak and lonely up there in exploded space. I'll be back shortly.
This is Gary Danielson, quarterback with the Detroit Lions, and I have a message from the National Easter Seal Sports Council. We're a group of athletes who have teamed up to help the Easter Seal Society in its work with people who have disabilities. Like other members of the Sports Council, I'm an Easter Seal volunteer in my community. I've spent time with handicapped kids, and I've talked with their parents. So I know firsthand how important Easter Seal services are in helping disabled people get back into the mainstream of life. When you visit an Easter Seal Center, you'll see people of all ages, some born with handicaps, some injured in accidents, and others disabled by illness. Regardless of the cause, they are getting the kind of rehabilitation service they need to help them achieve independent lifestyles. That's why I'm with Easter Seals all the way. If you'd like to get involved in this important program, get in touch with your local Easter Seals Society. We'll welcome your support. Easter Seals, a great way to help handicapped people.
Friend Benjamin Franklin, who used his years probably better than any other American before or since, used to say, "If time be of all things the most precious, wasting time must be the greatest extravagance, since lost time is never found again. Let us then be up and doing to the purpose." Which isn't bad advice, is it? Even though I had to go back in time 200 years to get it. Our cast included Russell Horton, Diana Kirkwood, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
I will be with you when you least look to see me. I will come to you when your life seems brightest.
Oh, Andre.
I will come between you and all you hold fairest and dearest. My ghostly hand shall drop a poison in your cup of joy. My shadowy form shall shut the sunlight from your life. Men with such iron will as mine can do what they please, Hector de Boissac. It is my will to haunt you when I am dead.
Mrs. E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre.